So this is what the state of Texas uses to grade your STAAR expository essays when you take your test in the spring. And I'm going to load a link to this, so if you or your parents want to read the actual rubric, you can, but you can see that it is very long. And honestly, I had to go to a whole day training when the STAAR test first came out, so I knew what it was talking about. So it is a little bit difficult to understand. And so I have made um, a different one that has a lot of the same, it's very much the same as how they grade it, but it's a little bit easier for you to understand. And since it's very important that you know how they're going to grade your paper, I wanted to make it a little bit easier for you. So here's how it works. Um, on the STAAR test, you can either get a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. That's very different from how we grade in class because you're used to getting like a 70 or an 85 or a 100. Those are like grades you're used to getting. And so on here, on the expository checklist for our class, I translated those scores. STAAR 0 is about the same as making a 50. It's not passing. STAAR 1 is about the same as making a 60 in class. It's close to passing, but it's not passing. A STAAR 2 is passing, but barely. It's a 70. A STAAR 3 is 80. And if you make a STAAR 4, it's like making a 90. So this will work in our class is if you wrote at least a half a page and you worked for 30 minutes and you did all of those things, then you get a 50. But if you do all of these things in this box and you do everything in this box, the STAAR 1 box, then you get a 60. So in order to get a 60, you have to do these two things, but you also have to write on topic. It must not be a story. It has to be an expository. That's the genre of the essay. It has to seem real and it has to be easily readable. That means your handwriting has to be readable or you've typed it. Right? To get a 70, you have to do these two things in the 0 box, you have to do these things in the 1 box, and you have to do everything in the STAAR 2 box. You have to say your opinion, restate your opinion, your topic must be clear, everything must fit the topic, it should not be repetitive. Now, the one thing that I do put on my rubric that is not required by the state of Texas is I require you to indent your paragraphs. On the actual STAAR test, if you don't indent your paragraphs, it doesn't hurt one thing. They will not take points off. But for my class, I will. And the reason for that is the STAAR test will take points off if your topic sentence and your paragraph don't match. And I think it's easier for you to go ahead and get into the habit of indenting, which is what you'll have to do in your other grades as you get older. But I also think it helps you keep on topic. So I will ask you to indent, even though the state of Texas will not. So if we look at examples from the state of Texas, sometimes they won't be indented. If you want to make an 80, you have to do all of the things in these boxes plus everything here, and that gets you a STAAR 3. Now, STAAR 4, you can see that the outside edge of these boxes is dotted lines, and that's because a 4 is a little bit different. All of these other things are pretty cut and dry. You either do these things or you don't. But to get a 4, you have to do some combination of these things in these two boxes. You need to have about 4 of these things checked off in order to get a 4. But maybe they're not all in the same box, so maybe you get an A plus introduction and conclusion, and you use a few of these different kinds of sentences to get a 4. And so we're probably not going to start off making 4s when we get started. These are probably going to be hard to get at first. And we're probably going to start off writing 2s when we first start. But as we grow, we're going to learn more and more. And by the end of the year, you're going to be so surprised at what great writers you are. I cannot wait to see how you grow.